So I've seen a post from a guy saying that for you to secure a chick, for you to be with a chick over the weekend, you must lock her down by latest Tuesday. That if you exceed that point, then she's not going to be available. And it almost correlates to what we were talking about Goved yesterday, and and how men at 30 they don't have girlfriends and what, because perhaps you are unable to slot your way in this busy schedule that people have created for themselves. But if you're looking, and I'd spoken about it earlier, if you're looking at the free weekends that people have, especially those stuck in a 9 to 5 routine, remember the 9 to 5 routine, the 3 meals a day, all of these are white inventions meant to suppress humankind into slavery, into subservience of an agenda. So the people who work 9 to 5, it's not that they are very productive, it's just that they've been stuck in these rat race so that they can be productive, and then afterwards when the system is done they will discard them like a piece of lint. So there are only 52 Saturdays in a year. Don't forget, they are split in four. So they are split in 4 quarters. So out of those 52 Saturdays, it may not go in that particular order, but a quarter of that time is allocated to to family. A quarter of that time is allocated to her girlfriends. A quarter of that time is allocated to her alone when she wants to binge watch a series on Netflix or whatever, or read a book or whatever. And then now you're fighting that quarter. There's like 10 of you who are fighting for that small chunk. So you see the demand is very high, which is why you're being pushed further away. Yes. Sunday, Monday. But if you find somebody trying to restrict you to that regime, because then what they want, or what they're subliminally telling you, is that for you to acquire me for the other week, you have to pre-book 5 weekends in a row, and each time you have to do some crazy shenanigans. There is this couple on Instagram who keep on breaking up and making up, and every time there has to be a grand event. I don't know, there has to be a baby shower, there has to be a helicopter, there has to be a billboard. You're going to be in this cycle of constantly trying to outdo the competition. And competition for what? I don't think intimacy should be competition. I think it's energy. Energy should not be forced. Unlike the male advice which is permeating the internet today, where you're told, no, focus on yourself. Of course, we are social beings. Occasionally we need that interaction. I think you should then concentrate your energy on where your energies match, instead of getting this person who is stuck in this schedule because they've been there Monday to Friday, with toxic bosses in a toxic working environment. Don't forget, they are they've already come from a toxic schooling system. Most of them went to these religious managed Catholic high schools, stuff like that, where their definition and idealism is almost like a genetic recomposition of their cells. So when they went there, how they went there and how they left, what they perceive men to be, has been greatly defined by those 4 years, the very critical years. And then now they come out, they get into the mainstream media. They first start reading some books by Maya Angelou. They start, I don't know, 50 Shades of Grey, and then they get to Maina and Kingangi. Each and everyone is bombarding them on the ideal dating experience, and they feel like they want to experience this and that. And so if you're there, you're competing with all that shenanigans, you're going to be lost. You're going to lose your identity, and you'll end up like now those 30-year-olds who are in the wilderness because they've been conforming and complying, that now suddenly they realize, I've been chasing this chick and kumbe, it's been a waste of time. So you don't want to reach there. You want to maintain your identity as a human being. You also want to have time to do a few things here and there. And because me, I've been there. My friends, many of you people keep asking me, Francis, why do you know so much? It's because me in my 20s, I was reading, I was catching up, which is why I have so much historical context when I speak now. Most of my peers were getting married during that time. They going to school, then after school you go to work, then after work you get married. You see, it's a cycle prepared by the system to keep you trapped, to keep you in a cycle of slavery. So that's why you can see like whatever. No, there's nothing special. It's just that my counterparts, my peers, all of them, and then others now went to the diaspora because, of course, the economy went berserk, went bust. Yeah, or others now flew out looking for greener pastures. So before you get lost, now you have to curate your own, first of all, identity, and then now before now you introduce somebody, and then once you go there, immediate within the first instance, if you don't feel the energy connecting, remember, energy cannot be lost, it can only be converted. Yeah, so if you don't feel that energy, that spark, then you cut your losses. You don't need to go through the extraordinary miles to compete with all this attention. So it's a good thing, not and a bad thing, because I've seen now the people, my age group, those who got lost, in marriage, they don't have identities. Even today, if you call them somewhere, they, because now the grouping system of men and even women to some extent is based on a hierarchy, a power hierarchy. So they want to gravitate on this one because this one has money, so they keep on following some group of people because they have money. So and they want to follow, like, so the people are in cliques. They don't have an identity. So you tell somebody, let's go, hey, let's go out, let's hang out, just your boy or your pal. He has to call like five other people to ask them, hiya, do I go here? Because they don't have an identity. Because and if they are not consulting their boys, then they are consulting their wives, because they don't have an identity. You don't want to get there to the current crop of 40s and 50s year old, some of them. But the people in the 40s, 40 to 50, they are lost completely, no identity whatsoever. And you don't want to get there. So instead of fighting for this slot, which is a highly competitive slot amongst the people, and don't forget, even they who are telling you now you have to book me by Tuesday, they don't even know their ideal type of dating experience. They were at one point you can see Idris Elba is a standard. There was a time somebody else was a standard. Now every other time, so they are looking for what the society is telling them is the ideal dating experience. And before even them they discover, they recalibrate, or they can curate their own identities. They go through ups and downs, and sometimes you don't want to be that hot mess. So what do? You just step back, you look for the one who has reciprocal energy. Because I wouldn't advise these people who are stuck 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Then they are going to bring that low vibrational energy to you. Again, I told you, don't lose energy. So it's almost like transferring. So you are here, you have high energy, you have all that hopes, and then they are bringing their toxicity from the office, from also the baggage carried from school, all the trauma. You've seen when we were doing the Why Are You Lying challenge, is the women who are traumatized. You can see is the women who have bared the brunt of the toxic schooling system. Now, many of them have not taken the opportunity to sit back and analyze the toxicity, but they have now discovered other healing mechanisms. Many of them going to church. They think now church is going to heal the trauma that they acquired in high school from the toxic teaching environment. Yet most of the schools are run by the church. So you are running to, it's almost like you're going back to your oppressor to seek for healing, which is a quite a contradiction. Is amazing what happens. So you don't want to be part of that mess of these people. So instead of fighting for this quarter of 52, instead of fighting for those days to have a mediocre dating experience, why don't you get people? Your metric and your measure should be availability, because most of these people, even sometimes, they are just chilling, but they've been told that ideally any man, to show interest, to show what he must contact you by Tuesday. It's people who coach them, because that's not how life should be. Life should be free, easy. It should be without stress. But other people, they've come and they've created all these motivational speakers, and I don't know who, and they've told them mwanamke ni standards, mwanaume ni effort. So she thinks that if she pulls up on that Saturday, you're going to think that she's loose or whatever. While you're not even there. You are You are just busy. Maybe you've just finished your assignment. You've been coding the whole weekend, and then you're like, ah, can I call her? Then suddenly, she starts giving you lectures. Oh, you should have called me on Monday. That's rubbish. You need people with matching energies. That's your objective as a man. And even as a woman, you find people who you have matching energies with.